All right, welcome back, everyone, and we're going to carry on with our agenda. Up next, we have the insurance renewal report, and our treasurer, Judy Everett, is here. Good morning, Judy. Welcome, and please give us the news.
Wonderful 6% news.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good morning, everybody. So yes, as my report indicates, they came in at a 7.6% increase, and I just kindly asked them if they could maybe check, review it a little bit. They did come down to 6, so I mean, it's the same as what it was last year. I'm not sure that we can do any more about it, but at least it showed some effort on their part. The cyber insurance, so the timing of the break was great because I checked my email and I just got an email in about the cyber insurance that it is staying status quo. There's a small $45 increase in the policy fee. So we're still, under $4,000 more than what we budgeted, which that's spread over the different departments. So by the end of the year, hopefully we'll find it somewhere in there.
Okay.
So yeah, the insurance, obviously it covers, liability, vehicle, equipment, buildings, volunteer, council liability, and cyber insurance.
And we can't operate without it.
Unfortunately, we can't.
That's right. Colin.
When was the last time we did an RFP for insurance?
A few years ago.
Yeah.
And yes, and so that is one thing on our list for next year, for sure.
Good. I think the market's getting smaller though, isn't it?
It is, it's hard.
Yeah.
And with that in mind too, Councillor McClellan, I kind of felt a little guilty because I had that in mind that we will probably RFP next year, or I would suggest that we do.
Mhm.
And with their response where they said, however, they provided revised terms as they recognize that the township is a long-term client and appreciate continuous business and the trust in us. But it is time.
Yeah, and that's it. If they got a good proposal, then we will continue our relationship, right? Perhaps. So, I mean, yeah, but no, that's due diligence on our part. We need to do that, right? When it comes to anything. So, any other questions, comments for Judy?
Curiosity question.
Sure.
How do we compare to other municipalities with regards to the total cost of the insurance?
So a lot of them,
Yeah, go ahead.
Madam Mayor, I think a lot of them are with the same insurer, and
Yeah.
I haven't compared recently. A couple of years ago, I did talk to another municipality, and theirs were higher, but it's hard to compare because it depends on the value of your buildings, your equipment, how much you have. So that is kind of,
So this is a total cost for all the structures and everything else, plus
that's,
cyber.
yes, and building, equipment, vehicles, yeah. That's correct.
It seems like a heck of a big price to pay for insurance, but if it's absolutely everything, probably isn't.
It is. And if I may, through you, Madam Mayor, so the cyber, I didn't bring breakdowns, but I was just working the cyber, itself is $14,920 in premium. So it adds up.
It's a lot. And insurance is up everywhere. I mean, it was municipalities all saw the big increase. I know at county, we had a big discussion about it because it was a bit of a, right? As a business, same thing that has happened. 2023 was quite a year. Everybody is struggling, no matter what industry, personally, professionally, whatever. Insurance is becoming a real big challenge, and it's something that I think there's been more of a sort of a push or suggestion out there about the province, about some of the upper levels, like looking at this to somehow figure out a way to regulate or smooth it out, because it's becoming almost unsustainable for some folks to carry on, certainly when it comes to small businesses. I know it's a huge impact for sure. Jim?
Yeah, does this cover liability, like, for council and for,
Yep.
and all that stuff is in there?
Yes.
I don't see that that's all that unreasonable, when you think about everything in the township. Holy smokes, we got a pile of buildings and we got, an awful lot of vehicles running around the roads. And some,
And we keep them in good repair, which is
and some
important.
really wild counselors that are liable to put us in trouble with it.
Man, I mean, it could be worse, right?
I move the recommendation.
Okay, oh, sorry, Jim, did you have another question?
Oh, sorry, Jim.
Yeah.
Does our insurance cover wildfire problems?
Uh, If I may, if it burned down a building, yes, the building would be covered. Wildfire, I mean. Tree, like properties out there, no, they're not, it's not covering, it's not our property.
Structures.
Yeah.
Structures, yeah.
What we're responsible for, they're not gonna go replant the forest if it burns down, but they'll replace our building if it burns down, right? So,
I move the
we
recommendation.
can move the recommendations, or a second for that. Seconded by Jim O'Shea, all those in favor? That has been approved. Okay, and we have reports from boards and committees. Any questions or comments on that? If not, motion to receive. Do you want one motion for each, right? That's usually what you like.
Yes.
Okay, can I have a motion to receive the North Portland Public Library Board minutes, please? Moved by Colin, seconded by Jim Whalen, all those in favor? It's been received. Motion to receive the short-term rental advisory committee minutes. Jim, you wanna make that motion?
Sure.
Okay, seconded by the other Jim O'Shea, all those in favor, those have been received. Okay, and moving on, we have new business and unfinished business and discussion regarding speed limits in Apsley. As you know, I came, was it in July, we had the update, and I was talking about, or no, it was in June, it was back in June, pardon me, when, the speed zone changes with regards to the school zones, school safety zones, was presented at county council and brought forward. And so we had a little bit of a discussion about that then, and then the comment was made about, what about looking at the whole speed limit through Apsley, right? Something that we've talked off and on about for many years. So I did reach out. I've had some good conversations, both with the OPP and with the county, with Doug Sakosha, about speed limit, what the process is. And it can happen, like it can be very formal, coming from council directly, a resolution, or even directly from staff. And there is a process that they do go through. There's sort of guidelines or a checklist that they go and that they review, and the process takes a few months. So I said, because I did want to put it back on this council for discussion. It is timely, but I also wanted to, certainly when it came to my conversation with the county, is to let them know about, they may not be aware of the future plans, perhaps they didn't know, they're helping us when it comes to the parking lot in town here, but I talked about the master plan, for downtown Apsley, the proposed development up there, pedestrian access to connect into the community, because it is part of the hamlet. Looking at making it more pedestrian friendly in the center of town. We talked about that, eliminating that parking, all of that. And just understanding those ideas. I know you guys, there's, sort of offline or outside of council, looking at, what makes up Apsley as a whole in terms of all of the entrances and all of the exits that we've got, residential, commercial, and otherwise. And also knowing that it is planned for 2027, that there's going to be reconstruction of Burley Street through Apsley. So there's a lot of things that are kind of swirling around, and I think it probably behooves us to consider putting forward that request to county, that they do that investigation when it comes to reducing the speed limit. Like I've said before, I don't think anybody would have an issue with driving slower through Apsley. I said my goal is to want people to stop and shop. Right, but everything, I mean, when we know sort of what the future is, what we're hoping for, the vision of the future of Apsley. Kind of makes sense, but anyway, I'm opening it up for discussion, that's why it's under sort of the new business, and because I figure council has lots to say. Colin, you start us off.
Yeah, no, so, I think achievable, simple improvements like this, that will improve the safety for our residents is exactly the kind of thing that we're here for.
Yeah.
We have an extra bonus right now, considering our downtown master plan, where we have an economic development officer who's actively going out on busy weekends, speaking to residents, speaking to visitors in the area, surveying them, collecting invaluable information. We also have a planning consultant who has tons of local experience.
Yeah.
So while I do think the master plan is a good idea. I think that we've got all the tools that we need in our toolbox right now to start moving ahead with some of these smaller changes.
Yeah.
I think the 40 km/h zone is totally appropriate. For one, it's too many speed limit changes coming down from Balmer where it goes from 80 to 60. By the time you get just past the school, there's 4 speed limit changes in 1.15 kilometers, which does not feel the most appropriate as a driver. But it also would certainly increase pedestrian safety in the Hamlet area where people are walking to school and people are using the sidewalks to get to businesses, medical appointments.
Yeah.
We've got a near 90-degree turn downtown where most of our high traffic businesses are centered. So we're gonna have lots of stopping around that bend, and slowing people down coming into it would certainly be a bonus. I'm almost on my list here.
No, it's all good.
Pedestrian incidents are 3 times as fatal at 50 km/h versus 40 km/h. So anytime you can take those reductions and lower the speed, there's increased improvement as you drop down. Like it compounds the improvement that you see. And then just as a general quick survey, I had 33 residences, 3 multi-unit driveways with multiple houses being accessed, 3 apartment buildings, gas station, LCBO, grocery store, general store, 2 breakfast and lunch spots, a major new municipal parking lot, health center, doctor, dental, library, post office, pharmacy, Legion, school, church, multiple cemeteries, and the most importantly, school and attached daycare. And I'm leaving off a whole bunch of them. So
Yeah, exactly.
I
Say help
I
us.
think it's a no-brainer to be reducing the speed limit through town. I've spoken to businesses, I've spoken to local residents, and they were all in favor of it. Even speaking to commuters, the majority of them realize that a 40 km/h zone would be appropriate, even if it's not something they'd be excited to see.
What's your motion?
Well, hang on, sir, but yeah, definitely. I think, I mean, it kind of seems like it's a no-brainer when you bring it forward, but I mean, there's always gonna be discussion and pushback, and if you're gonna do it, you gotta enforce it and stuff, which I agree with, right? Like, it's gotta be enforceable. One of the things, actually, when I was speaking with the CAO and we were talking about, you know, sometimes the issue with truck traffic or people wanting to bypass going on the highway coming through town or whatever. But if the speed limit is reduced and if enforcement is done, I mean, then it may help to divert some traffic and be like, I don't wanna have to go slow through town, I wanna go this way instead and get out that way. Yeah, and I think again, like this summer, a couple of times that I was down in the GTA and driving through some of the residential areas where they have like 30 km zones and lots of, and I mean, I'm not saying it's not comparing apples and oranges, but just that idea that what makes sense for a particular part of a community, like, you know, where there's a will, there's a way, basically. It just, and I think that the timing of this is good, I think, rather than sort of a knee-jerk reaction after the fact. Why not get prepared now and put forward that request? So it doesn't have to be anything complicated. I don't know if you have a motion prepared or not, but it's just a request that council ask the county to conduct a speed review, a speed audit on Burley Street through Apsley with consideration to reduce it to 40 kilometers.
And the only addition there, I don't know if we can do this, are we able to recommend that whoever ends up on the next council, that this be front loaded so they can have this discussion before 2027? I think it makes sense to have the council that's gonna be dealing with the construction, deal with it, but I also don't want it to be
I don't know
forgotten.
how you put forward that to another council, other than like, we just deal with it now.
Yeah.
So it's a fait accompli, but
And what I mean is.
Yeah.
With the construction, looking at, I think even beyond the discussion that happened 8 or 9 years ago about sidewalks, I think there's something in the roads department that has a general recommended layout of sidewalks in town. And thinking about pedestrian safety when it comes to the actual pedestrian part on the sidewalk, it would be nice to front load that somehow.
well, and I think, and that's with why I had those conversations, certainly with Doug, and Doug was here back, it was 2016, 2017, I believe, when we were having those discussions about the sidewalks and everything. But it's like giving things like consideration, like I said, if we're looking at a development up on Balmer, I mean, are we expecting people to drive down the short distance to get into town? Why wouldn't we be putting in some kind of pedestrian access so that neighborhood can connect with the rest of the neighborhood, right? and there are some plans on it, but some things may change in terms of like. Even where sidewalks currently exist, official sidewalks currently exist, because there are in certain sections in front of Sayers, you know, in front of the old municipal office, in front of the school. But then the rest are mountable curbs, and how we look at, you know, implementing that and the elimination of parking. Are we gonna need a crosswalk somewhere, and the restrictions and rules around that, all of that stuff. So that's why I think, and having county, if putting forward this motion to have county do this. And ensuring that staff are connecting, so our public works supervisor, our EDO. Shares that, you know, that information and work collaboratively to ensure that we're making the right decision for the future, right? But the first step is to have the motion, right?
Anyway, even after just saying it out loud and it's been spoken and the change, I'm all right with your original motion.
I don't even know what that was.
Leaving the second part that I had off, but I think there's at least probably some institutional knowledge that'll remain around that will remember it and
We're all on the same page.
I think everything will be fine.
Okay.
I'm comfortable with the original motion, just that the North Forth Council request that Peterborough County begin the process of reducing the speed limit of, do we want to say the entirety of
Well,
Burley Street?
let's have Connie read out whatever it was I said,
Okay,
and you said,
yes.
If I may, through the mayor, because I did have a question about it.
okay,
That council requests the county of Peterborough to conduct a speed audit on Burley Street through Apsley with consideration to reduce the speed to 40 kilometers, but I think there was a part in there about extending.
throughout the entire, like, through all of Burley Street, all of Burley Street through the village of Apsley. So basically, it's like from this intersection,
Covers the school, it covers everything.
yeah,
Yeah,
from the north entrance. Or I don't even know how to say, I don't even know how to say that, but just basically from there to there. Oh,
entrance.
This is Burley Street over here.
I know it is, but it's, I know,
The Burley Streets were represented by 620A and
And
504.
504. I don't know, what do you wanna
The
call it?
county road through Apsley.
It's basically from the north and south entrance off Highway 28.
Yes,
It's
okay, what the heck, I get 40 out here too.
Yeah. Yeah, and the 40 kilometers an hour essentially
Yeah.
extends the school zone, extends it in the direction where the pedestrians will be coming. So it's just
It's-
a big win in my mind.
Our entire community becomes a safety zone.
Hmm.
Right? So,
If you also, sorry,
go ahead.
finally, extending that eases a lot of my concerns that I have with the September through June and all the
Yep.
additional complications, or all the stipulations of the 40 kilometer an hour speed limit.
Yeah.
Because then it's 40 kilometers an hour before you're getting there.
Yeah.
And if you're choosing to do it at a time that would be exceptionally high risk for students, then you're gonna pay extra.
Mhm. Exactly, so it makes sense on a lot of things. Okay, so Connie, do you have that, do you think?
The council requests the county of Peterborough to conduct a speed audit on Burley Street through Apsley from the north and south entrance off Highway 28 with consideration to reduce the speed to 40 kilometers.
I think that
I'll
gives good
second, I'll
direction.
second it.
Okay, Colin's moving it,
So I'll second.
and Jim Whalen will second. You have a question on that?
Does that include the section of 504 up to Jack Lake Road?
When we're gonna
That
keep
would
it,
remain at 50?
we're gonna keep it simple for right now.
One road at a time.
And yeah, exactly, but it doesn't mean that, I mean, the discussions can happen with staff and with the county as well as to future consideration. Just knowing, and I don't know if there's construction on that portion or not, but it's just like I said, looking at all of sort of future projects when it comes to the county and reconstruction. Looking at the speed reduction, looking at sidewalk construction, all that could happen at the appropriate time.
Does that include keeping the speed limit signs on 620 from Bomber down to the
Yeah.
one here? At the rate they are now, like
The signs,
80, 60, 50?
the signs that are out there now need to stay because those
Yeah.
changes have been implemented, but. Based on what their county, like their report is, what their findings are, may impact. That may change those, all right, but we need to give them, put forward the formal request that they start this process for us.
Yeah, cause I come that way every day, and to me, it's totally logical to slow down slowly
Mhm.
till you hit Burley Street.
Yeah.
And then the 40 would kick in. I find personally, the 40 kicks in automatic. As soon as I get down here, I can't do 50 because it's a little too busy.
Good, good. It needs to be automatic for everyone. All right, motion is on the floor, moved and seconded. All those in favor? That is approved. All right, thanks. And now I am looking for a motion for us to go into closed session pursuant to section 239 pardon me, of the municipal act. This part of the meeting is to be closed, as it deals with litigation, potential litigation, and we are getting a legal update. If I have a mover for that, please. Moved by Jim Whalen, seconded by Colin. All those in favor? We are going into closed.